Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. My name is SubZeroExtabyte and I will be your host for this video. No, I am kidding, prankster. I got a huge video for you today. A lot of things are going to happen. As you can see, we have a small friend with us for this video. His name is Chip. For the people that don't know him, he doesn't talk much because he is a bit shy, but you worry, the only thing that matters is that he is a great warrior and a great mastermind. So, that out of the way, let's get down to business. Well, not real business, but about what this video is going to have for you. Well, as you can see, we are in a scary forest with nobody that can help us. It is my and Chip against the world, but as we are here and the mood is a bit smoggy, I am going to tell you a scary story. Well, the story begins when Antoinette was actually not yet 18. He was going out with a girl he liked whom was called Kelly. It was Christmas at the time and all of the presents were underneath the Christmas tree at his house. His mom was just watching some movies on the television as she would normally do. It was a cold night in December. It was snowing pretty hard. It was nice weather to be inside. A man had just murdered someone and posted it on Facebook. He was not going to stop until he was caught by the police. It apparently had something to do with an ex-girlfriend of his. He was murdering people just to get back at her because he did not have anything else to get back at her. The police informed the people in the area to be on the lookout. Kelly and Chip were going out to a party pretty late at night. They were going to a house party of a friend of them. It was a couple of miles away from Kelly's house. They were gone for a couple of hours and they have not yet contacted any friends or family members. They had not even looked at their phone yet. Kelly, her mom, did not know about this crazy man that was just murdering people left and right. She also did not know that he was in their neighborhood. The man had already posted a couple of videos where he just killed some people. Some people were afraid to go outside. Sadly, Kelly was not one of those people that are afraid to go outside if there is stuff going on in the news. Kelly did not even watch the news because she thought it was just a couple of old people complaining about things that are going around in the world. But that quickly turned on her. Her mom was very concerned about her and she saw a man standing out on their patio. She didn't think anything about it, but it was strange for her, so she phoned the coppers. The coppers were not far away investigating something else about this same man that was standing the patio of Kelly, her house. The coppers came rushing to the house, also not thinking much about the situation. Why would a man just be standing on a patio of someone else? He might just be confused or something like that. They looked outside for the man, but he was nowhere to be found. The coppers also could not find any footprints or any other evidence that a man really was on their patio. The sheriff just thought the mom was watching too many movies and just imagined something because it was a scary movie. The coppers decided to go back to the station and wait for a next lead. But then there was a breakthrough in the investigation in the house. The copper had found some crazy stuff behind the couch that mom was sitting at. The footprints were wet, explaining that the man came from outside. But the crazy thing was that the man was never outside on the patio. He was actually in there with Kelly, her mom. Right behind mom, the man was standing. Why he was standing there is probably because Kelly never stood on that patio again. Kelly did not return home after that party. Well, then that was a great story, was it not? Conclusion: Kelly, her mom, saw someone on her patio, but he was actually behind her. The same man that was behind her killed her daughter and the daughter's boyfriend on that same evening. The police, or also called coppers, have never found out who the man actually was. Nice story, bro. But we are going on to another story, Bloody Mary to be exact. The story is about three little girls that were having a sleepover on a normal weekend. They were doing some truth or dares just to have some fun. They were pajamaed up and ready to go. It was Kayla's turn and Kayla decided to take it easy with the truth. The truth is seen as an easy outway to not doing anything. The other girls called her a chicken and pressured her into doing something Kayla actually did not want to do. She thought, what the hell? Let's do this, dar, how bad could it be? But it was about to turn pretty bloody in a minute. She was told to do the Bloody Mary thing that people were doing a couple of years ago. It was a story about a woman whose son had been killed and was murdered. Everyone who said Bloody Mary in a mirror at 12 o'clock at midnight. There was a lightning strike right when they said that Kayla needed to do the challenge. They all thought it was just a bit of a cliquey and did not think about not doing the Bloody Mary thing. Kayla still did not want to do the Bloody Mary challenge but decided to just do it because she was actually not that afraid of it. She went up the stairs into the bathroom and prepared the stuff. She waited until 12 o'clock fell and said Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. The girls downstairs were getting impatient because Kayla had been up there for a while now. But eventually Kayla came back after a pretty heavy bathroom trip. Kayla had seen some pretty bad stuff but did not tell the girl what she went through. Everything seemed alright except for the things Kayla had seen. She told herself it was nothing to worry about and just went to bed. Well, she did not go to bed. She just laid there on the ground. All of the girls were asleep and suddenly a woman appeared in the mirror. No one saw the woman that appeared in the mirror. Sharkwisha woke up to an empty room because the two girls were suddenly gone. Kayla disappeared, and Bertha was nowhere to be found as well. Sharkwisha did not think much of the disappearance of the two. She thought they just left early. Sharkwisha went up to the bathroom before she was going to school. There was some weird stuff on the mirror. She wondered what it was and decided it was best to tell her mom what she saw. Her mom took the stairs and went up to her daughter. She got there but did not see anything on the mirror. Sharkwisha kept telling her she sees something on there. She eventually gave up and told her it was probably just her imagination. Sharkwisha was always the creative type of girl that would even write stories before she normally goes to bed. She had some pretty creative ideas and wanted to be a fashion designer when she grew up. She needed to hurry up and prepare to go to school but there was just something wrong. She was having a good look in the mirror and her mom somehow had different eyes. She told her mom what she saw and decided she was going to attack the mirror. She had no control over what she did. The mom was furious and did not know what to do. She assumed Sharkwisha was going insane and called a special doctor that would check on her. The specialist came as soon as possible. They checked our Sharkwisha out and told her she was actually insane and had to be put in a mental asylum for kids. The doctors had already examined her and were convinced that Sharkwisha was going insane. Her family still supported her and came to see her new life. Heinrich the doctor told her she could even see her mom and that on the same day. It was not a problem because Sharkwisha was not a harm to society. Sharkwisha told her parent that she did not think she should be here and that she was actually not going insane. Heinrich did not buy it because he examined her and it clearly showed that she was in matter of fact insane. Her parents knew Sharkwisha was not insane. It was not a very smart thing from Heinrich to hang a mirror in the room where a patient got in for the first place. She gave her mom her hand because she could not let the things she had seen rest. Sharkwisha was going insane again when she thought very hard in her head about what she had done that night. She was panicking. Heinrich assured her that it was all in her head. Sharkwisha actually got up, destroyed that same mirror that was there in her room. Her parents thought it was best to just believe what the doctors were saying. Heinrich convinced the parents that Sharkwisha was actually going insane. Mom could not believe it at first. Dad believed Heinrich because he is a doctor himself, not in a mental asylum, but he still is a doctor in a hospital and he sees some of the same situations himself every day. As you can see, we are going to try it one more time because Chip thought it was a very interesting story that he just had heard. If we finish the story, you would know about how the two other girls got killed and how Sharkwisha actually lived her life in that asylum. Kayla and Bertha were sleeping that same night and Bertha was having a nice dream about things and stuff. Kayla did not have a very nice dream about things and stuff. She was having a pretty intense nightmare about what has happened and what the consequences could be. She was having a couple of different dreams. One where she would just live on a happily ever after life like nothing happened at all. One where only her two friends got killed and she was the one to be blamed. There would be no case in court because it is scientifically unexplainable. But she would live a life where she was the one that killed her best friends. Bertha was not really her best friend, but she was having a hard time processing that Sharkwisha was dead. They eventually woke up in a weird alleyway near the McDonald's where they always had fun in between breaks. They saw an appearance of the same woman that was seen in the mirror. The girls were brutally murdered, but of course no one saw a thing. No witnesses. It was a clean murder. The world was shook and even Sharkwisha heard the stories in the asylum. Sharkwisha actually was held hostage in the asylum for the rest of her life. She only moved once to go from the children asylum to the big adult asylum. Chip thought it was a pretty nice story. Pretty scary, pretty spooky. NOICE. The next story is going to be the one about the mime. It is about the same as the Kelly and her mom one, but it is actually very different from it. Let's get right into it. On a day here, John was reading a newspaper article that read the title, "Killer on the Loose," subtitling "Lock all doors and remain inside." That is what our little independent John did. He chilled inside. John had the same mentality as Kelly and her boyfriend. He thought, what are the odds that he would be targeted by such a man? He did not think much of the story that he just read. But there was some strange things going on in his house. His lights decided to give up on him just like his family did. John was called and he heard a strange deep voice react to what John just said. If you do not remember, John said what are the odds that he would be the target. John was in a pretty bad shock of what he just heard. Now the mystery man said that it was just a prank, bro. It's me, I am right outside. John told him that he actually got scared and went outside to answer the man that told he was outside. Hold on, Lemo, open the door, John screamed. He opened the door and what was that? That was John's friend named Joe. Joe was just hanging there in front of his door. Joe was a dead man. He just got back from being a pilot. The poor sod. John decided it would be best for him to phone the police. But there was something strange because the police has already arrived. He heard the police yell that they could not let the killer escape. John understood from what they said that they were mistaken and they thought that the killer was actually John. They think I did it? John wondered. John decided it was best to get the fudge away because he has seen these things before. John had a big nose so he could still smell that he would not get away with what he has been set up with. The coppers broke down the door and did not see any sign of the handsome man with the big nose that is named John and also is the suspect of this assassination of his best friend Joe. Copper number 2 said he thinks that John is to the right. They were going to check all the rooms. John was a successful bed and breakfast owner so he had some money lying around. He bought a big house with many doors. The police had a pretty hard time going through all of these doors that were in John's house. Copper number 1 had found something in the other room that John normally do his daily squashing. John was a squasher. Yes, he is one of those people. The coppers saw that it was a suicide case and had already seen the things that were written on the wall with blood. The actual killer, also known as the mime, was just standing there in the window watching what the cops were going to do. He knew he would get away with this because it really looked like suicide. The mime went on killing a dozen of more people and setting up innocent people that were just doing good for themselves without any harm to any other people. Why he decided to set those poor people up no one knows, but he did it anyway. He was never caught. There were no other cases except for the ones I just told you about that he was linked at. The media linked him with a couple of other big cases, but the police could never really confirm that it was really the mime. If we just hop back to the old stories, the original stories that were in this server, we can go see the story about Herobrine. Even though Herobrine is not in Minecraft, the story is so unreal that he is even no here in this very server on Minecraft that we are playing in. The legend of Herobrine is about a young boy called Dylan. Dylan enjoyed playing Minecraft a lot. He was pretty passionate about Herobrine as well. He was actually good in Minecraft. He got called by his mom to go and eat what his mom cooked. Just when he got up and left to go eat, the Enderman that he was just slaying came headless off his screen. Actually off his screen into his room. Little Dylan was off, eating some good at this moment. He was eating some chicken with the bone still attached to it. He normally would only eat filet chicken, but this day was special. The ending of the story is pretty poopy because it does not make sense. Does it, Chip? No, I did not think so. Well, we are continuing to the next story about a chef that invited people into his restaurant and brutally murdered all of his so-called customers. The chef, his real name was Bob. The backstory that made Bob into the killer chef is vague to this day, but what we do know is that Bob really wanted to be a chef. He became a chef, but his name was not Jeff. His name was Bob. I think that was pretty obvious. But Jeff, whoops, I mean Bob, became a chef. He was a pretty happy chef, but he was craving for some other food than where normal people put the line. He once tried human meat at a friend of his. That friend was called Jeff. Jeff was not a chef. He just enjoyed doing weird stuff. Bob tried human meat and got hungry for more humans. He invited our hero that looks like Dylan again. Only Dylan did not get killed. Dylan is still alive until this day. He farts a lot and lives a pretty happy life. Bob actually killed a lot of people in his restaurant. It was actually not a real restaurant, but it was just a shed that Bob lived in. He used to live there with Jeff actually. The two were best friend and ate humans together. Bob killed Jeff because Jeff was always bragging about how delicious he would be. Bob, his mental state was not very stable, so he decided to murder Jeff one day. He ate him. The end. The next story is about the famous afterlife killer. This afterlife killer got murdered in the 1890s. He looked innocent. That is why so many people are so sad about that he got killed. Billy, the man with the jeans and black t-shirt who was crying about that the innocent man died, heard a strange voice saying, "I see you and I'm going to get you." That is the end. I hope you liked it because I did a lot. I love to tell you scary stories like this. Oh, hope you like them as well. Alright people, so for now the video will end, but don't you worry, I will be back with new videos and story and everything you want. But for now people, it is time to end. So goodbye.